Hello, I'm Carrie,
And I'm Emily.
and we are the voices of Tarbis.
And what is Tarbis, I hear you cry?
Well, Tarbis stands for Timely and Relevant Blogging, including sandwiches.
It does indeed. And what does that mean, Carrie?
That is a blog that we set up just about a year ago now, about historical places that we'd been to, places of interest, and basically describing them, giving you a run-through of them, so that you can make up your mind whether to go there or not. 9 times out of 10, we suggest you do.
Yeah, and we give ratings on all different things, from the facilities, to the place itself, to the upkeep, and of course, the cafes.
Because that's all important.
Definitely.
But we decided that we didn't just want to write about things, we wanted to talk about them as well. So we set up a podcast that you're listening to, which is all about people, places, historical events, things of interest that we like to geek out about.
Yep, we wanted to get on another platform because nerding about history is what we do best, and we wanted another way of doing it.
And sharing it with you lovely people. Now, you can listen in, obviously. You can also read our blog and get in touch. How can they do that, Em?
Well, it's using our handle, which is the same for Instagram, Twitter, Facebook and WordPress, and that is at Tarbis History. And Tarbis is all capitals and history is all lowercase.
So come on in, have a listen, drop us a line if you think that there's someone in particular that we should talk about, or, God forbid, we get something wrong.
Definitely, if we get something wrong, I want to know.
So, sit back, relax and enjoy
Tarbis After Hours.
Hey guys! First off, can we say a massive Happy New Year to you all?
Happy New Year!
It's now 2019, which is insane.
Mm-hmm.
I still think of 30 years ago being 1970.
Yep.
But it's not, as both Carrie and I turned 30 this past week or so. So we know that 30 years ago was actually 88/89. Say 88 because I was born 2 days before, so I know 30 years from 2019 is 1989. But I was just 30. We're a
Right
week
on the
apart.
cusp.
Yes,
On the cusp.
we are a week apart. So we're now 30, so happy birthday, Carrie.
Happy birthday, Emily. Happy
Uh,
birthday.
Secondly, we want to apologise for not uploading for the last 2 weeks. We had every intention of uploading both Christmas Day and New Year's Day. We'd researched everything. We were going to have them all set up to go. But due to a family bereavement, we've both been slightly indisposed. So they hasn't really been the time to record anything
Yeah.
for those 2 days. But we're back now. And
Thank you for bearing with us.
at the moment, we have no reasons to not be uploading every Tuesday.
Yeah, we got no intentions. I mean, life does sometimes get in the way.
Yes, but
Right.
only for really serious things such as a bereavement would we not post.
Yeah.
But we hope you had a very Merry Christmas as well.
Thirdly, and lastly, before the podcast begins, our lovely little blog that started it all, Tarbis, turned 1 year old yesterday.
Yay!
And we have been nerding out on history on a media platform for about 12 months. It's been awesome for us and hopefully educational for you, and awesome for you as well. We visited some awesome places. I mean, they are awesome.
Well, yes.
Warwick Castle, Blickling Hall, Castle Rising. I went on a historical cruise around some stunning places and I blogged about them with Mum instead of him. Sorry, dude.
It's fine.
We've got loads that we want to fit into 2019, but more followers and listeners would be amazing. So if you listen or you're reading us, please like, share, comment, follow us, throw a carrier pigeon, put it on a paper airplane and lob it at somebody. Just be like, yo, listen up.
Yeah.
And that's a shameless plug here. Sorry, not sorry.
Well, yeah. Or read. Obviously, if you don't want to listen to us, you can read.
Yeah, or read up.
Yes. So, enough about the present and the future.
Mhm.
We're here to talk about the past.
Woo.
But what I need you to do is I need you to believe that today isn't the 8th of January.
Okay.
It's actually the 6th.
Okay.
As the 6th is 12 days after Christmas, which is known as the Epiphany or the Three Kings Day.
Any day after my birthday.
It is the day after your birthday. And as it's the last day of the Christmas festivities, it means we're still okay to give you the lowdown on all things Saint Nick.
Woo!
Okay, so that's right, folks. This week's Tarbis After Hours is about the main man behind the story of Father Christmas.
So, St. Nicholas. He was a bishop that lived in the 4th century in a place called Myra in Asia Minor, in the village of Patara. At the time, the area was Greek and is now on the southern coast of Turkey. He was the only son of parents Theophanes and Nonna, who'd vowed to dedicate him to God. They were quite pious, quite virtuous people. He was said to have started studying sacred texts at about the age of 5, so it put him to work early.
Yep.
However, his parents died in an epidemic whilst he was still young. They were quite wealthy, they left him a lot of money. Now, I'm not entirely sure how much you know of the Bible, being a little Protestant. She's giving me the stink eye, guys. Yeah.
Carrie's Catholic. We have to just say we're like the.
Well, I was born it. I'm not now. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I was christened it, but.
Yeah. But in Jesus' words, it is easier for a camel to pass through an eye of the needle than for a rich man to pass through the gates of heaven. So, in keeping with that, Nicholas basically gave up his whole inheritance and used the money to assist needy, sick and suffering. He was also known for giving them secret gifts. I mean, if he's known for it, possibly not that secret.
Well, no.
No.
But that's obviously where Christmas presents and giving gifts at Christmas time comes from that.
Exactly. He basically dedicated his life to serving God, and he was elevated to priesthood possibly by his uncle, the Bishop of Patara, after demonstrating his religious piety. As a priest, Father Nicholas was believed to have shown great leadership, and he was respected by a lot of the people that followed him. In AD 300, roughly, give or take, Nicholas was then elected to serve as Bishop of Myra. Myra is now Demre in Turkey. I'm not entirely sure if I'm saying that right, but I've never been to Turkey. During his time as bishop, he actually continued his works by establishing a poorhouse for the homeless, hostelries for travellers, and a hospital.
Oh.
So he really put that money to good use.
He really did, and he doesn't seem like he used it for any personal gain whatsoever.
No.
Except they say there are no selfless acts, because I bet he felt pretty good doing it.
Well, yeah, he was doing it to get into heaven.
Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure he did. He's a saint and all, so...
Yeah.
But yeah, so he was made the Bishop of Myra while still quite a young man.
Mm-hmm.
Bishop Nicholas became known throughout the land for his generosity to those in need, his love for children, and his concern for sailors and ships.
Okay.
One story that I found tells of him helping some sailors who were caught in a storm off the coast of Myra, or Turkey.
Mm-hmm.
The men were terrified that their ship would sink beneath these massive waves during a storm, so they prayed to Saint Nicholas, or Bishop Nicholas, to save them. Suddenly, he appeared on the deck of their ship and ordered the sea to be calm. The storm died away and the sailors were able to sail safely to port.
Wow, that's a cool story.
Yeah, so it kind of shows that even, like, when he was a saint, when he was no longer here, when he had died, he was still, people were praying and he was coming forward to help them.
But they weren't, I mean, he wasn't always in the good graces, because you found out what happened under Emperor Diocletian, didn't you?
Yeah, he, under the, like you said, Roman Emperor Diocletian, he was ruthlessly...
Back in last?
Yeah, fine, I just had some wine, so... He persecuted Christians. Bishop Nicholas suffered for his faith, and he was exiled and imprisoned. The prisons were so full of bishops, priests and deacons, right, that there was no room for real criminals. So murderers, thieves, robbers, they were all getting away with it because prisons were filled with priests, bishops and deacons. And so it means that crime was definitely on an all-time high at this point in time.
And they didn't have police?
Nope. But also persecutions during this time were raised against Christians that did not comply with the Roman religious practices. Prisoners were routinely tortured, chained and starved.
Or thrown to face the lions.
Yeah.
Looking at you, Nero.
The Emperor Constantine realised this, and he released the prisoners, and later during the he put into a law an acceptance of Christianity that reflected his own personal acceptance of Christianity.
Now, Constantine is a pretty big historical name as far as Christianity goes.
Yes.
When he became Emperor Constantine, Nicholas was released with a load of others, and he returned to preaching only to find his new threat. He then faced the threat of Arianism. Arianism, it was a theological teaching attributed to Arius, who was around roughly between 250 to 336 AD,
Okay.
give or take. And he was a Christian presbyter who came from Alexandria in Egypt, one of my favourite places. In simple terms, Arianists believed that there was a time before there was a Christ, and therefore Christ was inferior to God the Father. This teaching denied Christ's divinity and was considered heresy, especially by Bishop Nicholas. In about AD 325, the First Ecumenical Council was called to preserve the unity of the Church that was threatened by competing claims about the nature of Jesus Christ. From what we've found, several sources don't list Bishop Nicholas as a participant in the First Ecumenical Court. However, Other sources do say that not only did he attend, he staunchly upheld Orthodox Christian belief and went so far as to slap Arius in the face personally. I think we're probably going to go for the slapping thing.
I want to believe the face slapping sources were true.
Yeah.
Because, he's got some gumption if he's going to go up and the face.
So, Cress is not inferior. Have at thee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to believe that one personally for us. Your beliefs are your own, but I want to believe he slapped him up the face.
I believe he smacked my bishop.
That was so off the fly.
I need more wine.
I'm going to be saying smack my bishop for the rest of forever.
You would actually say it to a bishop, though.
So, the next known date for Bishop Nicholas was actually his death.
Oh.
This was on December the 6th AD in about 343.
Yeah. We say
So-
about because records don't always
Yeah.
survive from that time, and dating was different then to how it is now, because they didn't see Jesus as the year zero.
No. But according to ancient records, Bishop Nicholas was buried in the cathedral at Myra, now modern day Turkey. Don't forget.
Mm-hmm.
But it is thought that in 1066, before setting sail for England, William the Conqueror prayed to St Nicholas, asking for his conquest to go well. Spoiler: it did. It went quite well.
William the Conqueror's conquering went well.
It did.
Wow.
Shockingly enough. But anyway, Nicholas's tomb in Myra became a very popular place for pilgrimage. Because of this, many wars and attacks in the region, or because of the many wars and attacks in the region, some Christians were concerned that access to the tomb might become difficult. So, for both the religious and commercial advantages of a major pilgrimage site, the Italian cities of both Venice and Bari both wanted to get the Nicholas relics and the bones. They wanted to remove them.
Okay.
And so both the Venice and Bari were like competing to get them.
I've literally got an image in my head of two cardinals, just to me to you over a skull.
Well, not so much both of them, because in spring 1087, sailors from Bari succeeded in spiriting away the bones, taking them straight to Bari, which is a seaport on the southeast coast of Italy.
Nice place, Italy.
So they won. They built an impressive church over St Nicholas's crypt, and many faithful into Christianity, journeyed to honour the saint, who had obviously rescued children, prisoners, sailors, his famine victims, and many others through his compassion, generosity, and the countless miracles that attributed to his intercession. So the Nicholas Shrine in Bari was one of medieval Europe's great pilgrimage centres, and Nicholas then became known as the saint in Bari. And to this day, pilgrims and tourists still visit Bari's great Basilica di San Nicola.
Close. Basilica.
Oh, I tried.
You tried. It was good effort, though.
Cheers. Normally I'd just give it to you, but I thought, new year, new word trying to speak.
You did good.
Cheers.
St Nicholas's feast day, December the 6th, is widely celebrated in Europe, and it's kept alive the stories of his goodness. In Germany and Poland, boys dressed as bishops and beg for the poor, and sometimes for themselves. In the Netherlands and Belgium, St Nicholas arrives on a steamship from Spain to ride a white horse on his gift-giving rounds. December the 6th is still the main day for gift-giving and merrymaking in much of Europe, which we kind of covered on the last one. For example, in the Netherlands, St Nicholas is celebrated on the 5th, the eve of the day, by sharing sweets thrown in through the door. They have chocolate letters, small gifts, riddles, and Dutch children leave carrots and hay in their shoes for the saint, for his horse, hoping that he will then exchange them for small gifts. Simple gift giving in early Advent helps preserve Christmas Day, like for Christ, rather than for gifts. Obviously, Christmas traditions and the day itself has changed considerably, especially in England, and most families now give gifts on December the 25th. But we do still have Advent. It does, however, take the form of chocolate calendars now rather than early gift giving. I still haven't opened all my Advent calendar,
Well, you didn't have a chocolate one. You had like a beauty one, didn't you, this year?
To be fair, and I kind of stopped on the 19th.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So that's basically St Nicholas the person. But how did he become known as Santa Claus?
Well, in the 16th century, mostly in Northern Europe, after the Reformation, the stories and traditions of Saint Nick became unpopular. Oh, and why? Hint, hint. Henry VIII. Still bay, though.
You do have an unhealthy obsession with Henry VIII.
Unhealthy?
Well, no, to be fair, apparently when he was younger he was quite a babe.
He's bae. But there was already a tradition of giving gifts at Christmas, and even the king liked presents. So there still needed to be someone who would deliver presents on December 25th.
Okay.
So good old Blighty made up Saint Nick, Father Christmas, or Old Man Christmas, as a character for middle-aged story plays.
Okay, so basically there's a big bearded man that would come in and give little Henry his presents.
That's essentially Father Christmas. When you say it like that, it sounds seedy and creepy.
I didn't actually mean it to be seedy and creepy. I meant it to be, oh, look at the little king getting his presents.
No, but you said, oh, a weird man with a long beard
I
snuck
said
in
a
to
big
give...
man with a beard.
Oh, yeah, but that's better.
Anyway.
Yeah, and in France it would be known as, I'm going to try, Pierre Noël.
Close. Père Noël. It means Father Noel, Father Christmas.
I might just give it back to you to talk it.
No, you're doing good, you're doing good.
In Austria and Germany, they would call him Christkind, but he was a golden-haired baby with wings who would symbolise the baby Jesus.
So basically a Christmas Cupid.
Pretty much. Yeah. Early USA named him Kris Kringle from Chris Kind, so they took it from Kris Kringle. But later, when Dutch settlers came to the USA, they took the old stories of Saint Nick with them, and so then they combined Saint Nick and Kris Kringle, and thus the name Sinterklaas was born, now known as Santa Claus. Makes sense?
Yeah, it's like modern pronunciations of Sinterklaas or Santa Claus.
Yeah, it hurts the brain somewhat when you try and work your way how we came from, Old Man Christmas to Santa Claus. But if you think about how...
If you think about it through different languages, if you kind of pinball off different languages, it makes sense.
Yeah, so that's how we get Santa Claus. And that's why most people in America do call him Santa Claus, and a lot of us in the UK do tend to call him Father Christmas. But we still say Santa because,
We've been Americanised.
We have been Americanised.
Yeah. So that was earlier on. So he had a bit of a resurgence in the Victorian era.
Yeah. Thanks
to writers, poets, and artists rediscovering the old stories as they do. There's kind of, it's not really described as such, but there was sort of a literary renaissance during that era. In 1823, you had the famous poem "A Visit from St. Nicholas," also known as "'Twas the Night Before Christmas."
And all through the house,
nothing was stirring.
Not even a mouse, isn't it? No creature is stirring, not even a mouse.
I don't know. I've never read the poem all the way through.
It's the first, 3 lines, Carrie. It's not reading it all the way through.
I was reading The Christmas Carol instead. What? Charles Dickens rules.
He does, but "'Twas the Night Before Christmas." Everyone knows the first paragraph of "'Twas the Night Before Christmas."
No. Anyway, that was published in 1823. Dr. Clement Clark Moore later claimed he'd written it for his children. However, some scholars do believe it was actually written by Henry Livingston Jr., who was actually a distant relative of Dr. Moore's wife. The poem describes St. Nicholas with 8 reindeer and gives them their names. And then they became really well known in the song Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, which was written in 1949. Now, without looking at our notes...
I actually wrote them on the notes without looking at anything on the computer. So the notes are exactly how I wrote them, so I know them.
Go on then.
So you've got Donner, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Cupid, Comet, Blitzen, which rhyme all nicely, and Rudolph.
Yep.
Thank you.
Now, there is an urban legend that says Santa's red suit was designed by Coca-Cola, and that they now technically own Santa as intellectual property. It is not true.
It's not true.
Long before Coke had been invented, we just sang horrible histories. Sorry.
It's been a very long few weeks.
It really has. But you know what? No, I'm not ashamed.
I never said I was ashamed. I'm just saying it's been a long few weeks.
Own it.
Yep, I'm owning that shit.
Right, let's focus. Coke. Long before Coke was invented, Nicholas had worn bishop's robes, red robes. During Victorian era and times before that, he actually wore a range of colours. So he wore red, green, brown, fur, blue, but red was always his favourite. So yeah, it's nothing to do with Coca-Cola. I mean, they've obviously taken it and ran with it.
Yeah.
But it's nothing to do with Coca-Cola originally.
Yeah, I think Coca-Cola even came out and said, we did not... Because I think I had heard that Santa wore green until Coca-Cola came.
Yeah.
But actually, even they've said, no, it just happened that he wore red, so we've taken him, which is quite good for Coke because they were
Yeah.
red and white, and Saint Nick wears red and white, so
Yeah.
it just happened to be that way. But no, they had nothing to do with it.
I mean, they might have added the white fur trimming, but yeah, not the original red. In 1863, in January, New York magazine Harper's Weekly, they published the first illustration of Saint Nick by a guy called Thomas Nast, and he was actually wearing a Stars and Stripes outfit.
Okay.
And then over the next 20 years, Nast continued to draw Santa every Christmas, and his works actually were very popular. This is when Santa really started to develop his big tummy and the style of red and white outfit he wears today. Because if you think back then, he probably would have been quite either really skinny because he would have been fasting a lot, or especially in like your more Germanic sort of cultures, he would have been quite a strapping man. You know, like a beefy Santa.
That's
Imagine
really weird to
Buff
think.
Santa.
There's Santa's supposed to look like, your granddad, who's literally a bit tubby, because he eats all them mince pies and drinks all that milk or whiskey or beer or whatever you leave out for Santa.
Not biker Santa down the road with a six-pack.
No, that's weird. Nah,
Yeah.
I can't. Could you imagine looking at Santa and being like,
Not
Santa's
bad.
hot.
Not
No,
bad.
not bad. No, you can't. That's wrong. That is wrong.
Yeah. So we can thank Nast for his little potbelly design. He basically took his look from historical information about Santa and the poem A Visit from St. Nicholas.
Oh, so he actually took info from what we believe St. Nicholas looked like to create Santa.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, looks less like Thor, more like Henry VIII in a beard. Bigger beard, white beard. Henry VIII in red.
Nah.
Yeah.
Nah, he has to be ginger.
Yeah.
So, that's it. Christmassy podcasts are now over for another 11 months.
No.
Yep,
Sorry, I wanted to do that with a bit more conviction, but I couldn't.
that's fine. But yeah, so Christmas is done. It's over.
All that fuss, and it's over.
Yeah, and now in another year. And by the time we do next Christmas podcasts...
Whatever will we talk about?
Oh.
Krampus.
We're literally going to have to start thinking about Christmas in, like, October. Or you're going to have to, because I'm going to be in London for a while.
Yeah, you are. You're running off and leaving me. We're going to have to sort that one out as well with the podcast.
Oh.
That's a story for another time.
Yeah, definitely. We,
Yeah.
we should probably not discuss our schedules.
Em's going to be in London in summer.
Yeah, so, but now it's time for a ridiculous death part of our podcast.
Sorry, I'm just the idea of you getting mobbed by all of our 12 fans.
We've got more than 12 fans, Carrie.
Sorry. 13.
Stop. We have more.
I forgot our listeners in Sweden. We love you.
And the Philippines.
Our listeners in the Philippines.
We have listeners in the Philippines.
Oh, go Philippines.
Hi, Philippines.
We love you all.
We do.
We do.
So, like I said, it's time for the ridiculous death part of our podcast. Now, Christmas is never a happy time to lose anyone. Trust us. This year we know.
Yep.
But
Yep.
by now, you know this feature isn't meant for any seriousness.
No.
So, this week, it goes to Sir William Payne Gilway. He was 2nd Baronet. Okay? Don't read down because this one is
Okay.
quite spectacular. So, Sir William Payne Galway was a former British MP for Thirsk from between 1851 to 1880.
Now, Thirsk is in Yorkshire, for
Yeah.
anyone listening outside of the country.
Yep,
North of England.
Yep, and he was a baronet of Hampton Hill in Middlesex from 1831 until his death at 74 in 1881.
Okay.
So, on the 19th of December, so it's not quite Christmas, but close enough that I can add him to this Christmassy podcast, he sustained several internal injuries.
Okay.
He fell over while he was out hunting in the parish of Bagby.
Okay.
Sounds perfectly normal thus far, right?
Yeah, these things happen.
Yeah, but well, when he fell, his severe internal injuries came from landing on a turnip. And he died several days later.
So what? Death by root vegetable.
He died from he got severe internal injuries from falling on a turnip.
I mean, how big was his turnip?
Well,
How far did he fall? How tall was his horse?
he wasn't on a horse. He was he fell.
He fell. He tripped and fell on a turnip.
Yeah. He tripped and fell on a turnip.
Okay, this probably has to be the most ridiculous one so far. I mean, we've had some doozies, but tripping and falling on a turnip.
Yeah.
I mean, what a shitter.
Carrie literally had no idea what that was until then. I didn't let her read it because we like to have some like proper reactions.
Oh wow.
That one shall go down in the books.
Like he did on a turnip.
Down on a turnip.
Ugh. Well, thanks for listening. Thanks again for being patient with us over the past couple of weeks. We do appreciate that. We are now back. Probably noticed.
Yep. Hello.
And we will speak to you next Tuesday. As always, any suggestions for shows, let us know in any comment sections on our social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram and WordPress. And we are also looking into getting ourselves up on SoundCloud as well, which might make it easy to access.
Yes, and all of our handles are at Tarbis History. Tarbis being in capitals.
Yeah.
Just so it would be easier to have like one platform.
Indeed.
Yes.
And if you find us, you can look at our lovely faces.
You can.
Rather than just our lovely voices.
Yeah, you can put faces to the voices.
Yeah. So.
But until then, we shall speak with you
Next
next
Tuesday.
Tuesday. Have a good
Bye.
week. Bye.
On a turnip.